How goes it? I'm Ken Bozak from pureblockchainwealth.com, where we talk about putting your wealth on the blockchain. This is the Cryptocurrencies Elite Forum, and today's guest is the CEO of 3TNetworks.com, an all-in-one stop for cryptocurrency and blockchain enthusiasts. From entry into the space to traveling safely through it, even mining and ICO information is available. Thank you for joining me today, Dan Schwatz. How goes it?
Oh, it goes wonderful. Love what we're doing. Love what our members are doing. Love the opportunity to share and answer your questions.
I can't wait to dig into it. I'm more curious about who you are and how did you get first introduced to Bitcoin and how did that bring about 3T Networks?
A little bit of my background. I'm a technologist, marketer, business developer, author, investor, speaker. I'm a people person, and I've been around technology for a long time. And back in middle of 2015, actually, somebody said, "Hey, did you take a look at this?" And I'm going, "What's this?" And I was too busy running around selling and working with software companies. So they said, "Take a look at this." I was introduced to my first taste of Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining and altcoins and all that. And it took a little while to put my head around it. And then I bought my first mining contract and got some coins to go with it back in late 2015. So that's when I first got introduced to this space. But like I said, it took a little while to get my head around it. Then I kind of looked at it and said, well, I was based in Asia, Thailand, and it's like, well, I have a Thai baht bank account. What's the difference between having that and having a US dollar account and a euro account and having a Bitcoin account? So that's how I got my head around it. And then I worked with another company. I was trying to help them out because I have experience in far-flung operations, because the software company I worked with it's probably $1 billion company, and it had like 0 actual employees. Now that's changed a little bit, but basically the philosophy was employ people from anywhere and get the best talent you can get. So I had that level of experience. I was trying to bring that to assist another company. And then we were approached to join together with some folks that we know and go into another network marketing company. And we decided, we want to do it our way, because I didn't like the smell and taste of how it was promoted. So we decided to set up 3T Networks with the main premise. Here's the real reason for this. There's a lot of deals out there, a lot of offerings out there that basically say, give me all your money, or all the money you would like to put into this space, and then we'll pay your return. And then you're sitting there on the other side, and I've been there personally, you're sitting there on the other side going, okay, I gave them 500, 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, whatever my comfort level was, and I'm going to get back my initial amount plus a return over some number of days. And you're always sitting back worrying, is it going to actually last that long? Am I actually going to get it? So we set up and decided to do something different. So that's kind of the origins of why we set up 3T Network.
Awesome. And let's dig a little deeper under the hood there and see exactly what does 3T Networks do exactly. What is the mission statement and how do you achieve these goals? And maybe you could explain a little bit, what are the 3 T's? What does it stand for?
Sure. 3T now stands for Teach, Trade, and Transform.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you. First, we are a financial information publisher and provider. That's basically what we do. Sure, there's a compensation component that goes with it. And the mission of the company is basically to teach people about the greatest thing that's happening in the world right now, which is the cryptocurrency industry, because most of us missed the .com and missed the launch of the internet in the 93, 94 timeframe, is to teach people and enable people to make money, and to teach them about it, to teach them how to do it themselves, provide them that information, and see how many people we can help to become numbered in the group of cryptocurrency millionaires. One of the other pieces in there, we're under Trade and Transform. We've partnered with a company that's been around for over 30 years, and they provide signals in traditional and in crypto space. Basically, it's called the traffic light trading system. And the idea is to make it easy for people to participate. Because what's the hardest thing in trading? I know you're familiar because we're talking blockchain. Trading, you need multiple accounts. You need to be at your computer all day. And most people have a life.
I went all in on crypto. So I used to have a life until I found Bitcoin. But yeah, I used to know what that was like.
Sure. In our case, it's designed so we have information that the sophisticated people who don't mind sitting in front of the computer a lot and are capable of following a trade signal that said buy at level A and then targets 1, 2, and 3 at levels B, C, and D, and are able to do that, follow that, move their stop losses, and do those kind of things. There's a lot of that, but there's a whole bunch of other people that are trying to buy their first Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's the majority.
Correct. It's not mass adoption yet. What are there, about 30, 35 million Bitcoin wallets in the world right now?
Yeah, and most of them are dead, cold, lost, blocked, locked. There's not that many people in it yet, and that's what I'm waiting for, that beautiful mainstream adoption. And speaking of the mainstream adoption, how do you plan to utilize the 3TN platform to educate the general public about Bitcoin?
Okay, we educate the general public through, we have a network marketing model. So we have lots of members and many big leaders, and also using avenues like this one and speaking at conferences to get the word out and help them to get the word out themselves. And we have pretty decent social media presence, and that's growing because we're still basically in soft launch. But the idea from our perspective is to enable everybody the opportunity to use this information to make money for themselves. And I think doing that will enable it to get out to many, many, many more people. Because most people, if they share their winnings and share their learnings, lots of other people will want to do it. So that's really what we're all about.
So speaking of most people, what are some of the things that most investors should know that are important, and they should know this before they even enter the space? Or what are even some of the skills that they could learn at 3TNetworks.com?
Okay, let's do the first one, the most important one. It's in all our disclosures, and it's in virtually every single presentation we give corporately and hopefully our members give. Don't put more money into the crypto space than you can afford to lose. Bet with your head. I mean, in some cases, that's what they said, don't bet over it. People do not, what we tell people, do not go mortgage your house. Do not take the kids' college fund. Learn this and get comfortable with it, because you read, XYZ exchange gets hacked for $500 million. If you had your money sitting there, you had your altcoins, Bitcoin or whatever sitting at an exchange that got hacked, what are you going to do? If that's all your net worth, that would be quite traumatic. So that's the first rule. Second rule is keep your money in your own account. Keep your money in your own trading account. If you're going to have Bitcoin or Litecoin or Ethereum or Dogecoin or Ripple or any of those, the ideal is keep it in your own account. Sure, use the information, learn how to do the basics, and then learn how to do more than the basics, because there's huge opportunity here for people to make money in this space. There's also huge opportunity to lose lots of money too. The markets have been down the last couple of months. But the idea, at least from my perspective and our company's perspective, is we teach people how to keep their money in their account and how to grow and protect their wealth. Actually, we actually do it the other way. We call it protect and grow, because it's nice to have this large balance, but if the whole thing crashes down, it looked good in your account for a week or two, but if you didn't protect it and get to cash or some other asset before it went down a lot, you're left with a lot less than you started with.
Yeah, that is very important to keep track of that. That's for sure. You don't want to end up being a bag holder. I've seen it, I've heard it, and it usually happens because people put money into this before they invest in their education. So definitely with you on that. And the whole don't invest more than you can risk to lose. If you only invest what you can risk to lose, you never really lost anything. It's spending money. You spent the money. Speaking of spending money, have you personally used any of the trading strategies suggested by 3TN Trading? And what has been one of the best trading calls since its inception?
Okay, let me answer it a couple ways. One is our basic product called Traffic Light Trading. It basically tells you what are the market trends. It's a trend trading system, not a day trading system. And we follow it, for the Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum that we hold. Doesn't have to be used for operating money, but we follow it, and we either go to cash or a cash equivalent when it goes red. So we've been following it for a number of months, since even before the company launched. And the idea is the signals say get out high or higher and get back in lower, so that you wind up with more Bitcoin, Litecoin, or Ethereum. We as a company, obviously, and our partner as the analysis company who built the algorithms and the application, can't take any credit for Bitcoin from last June going from 2,000 to 19 to 20,000, and today it's at about 11,000. You don't get any credit for that. And anybody who promotes that they're getting those phenomenal returns, well, if you bought a Bitcoin last June for $2,000 and sold it in December at the high, you got 19 or 20,000 bucks for it if you held it. So the idea is to use these signals to enable people to increase the amount of Bitcoin, Litecoin, or Ethereum. Signals aren't perfect. It's a trend trading system, and it comes out about 70 to 80% of the trades increases your holdings, and 25% reduces them. The idea is when they reduce, the reduction percentages are less than the gain percentages, so that you personally wind up with more assets. And then on the ICO space, we've looked and bought a number of ICOs, both during the ICO and post ICO, because you can't always get in. For instance, one great token we liked from an analysis perspective, we write ICO reports that our members can get access to, was Key. It sold out in 11 minutes, and the pre-sale was $3,000 per account maximums, and it still sold out in 11 minutes. But it was a good buy. It's been a good buy because it went up a bit and then it came back down. I think it's trading close to the ICO price right now. We also like Deep Brain Chain, which did very well. We also liked a few others, but basically we analyzed a number of ICOs, and I think at the moment 17 of them that we wrote reports on and said were ones that we personally liked and that we were putting our money into or recommended putting money into if we could. All of those, the bulk of those 17, even with the bear market the last couple of months, are all except one or two in positive space, and people would have made, and we would have made some nice returns even in a very, very bearish market at the moment.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. And traders definitely need to keep their eye on the market. Definitely don't want to let your attention wander off. And, a lot of the times people will look at trading, analytics, TA, and they would take a look and, they don't get too much of the negatives here. So I was wondering if maybe you, for the benefit of our listeners, could maybe disclose one of your biggest mistakes when it comes to trading cryptocurrencies, and maybe talk a little bit about what you learned from it.
I personally am not the trader. When you do the profiling, I'm the people and the business side. Trading's not my personal forte. So basically, Dan Schwatz personally doing the trading for himself or anybody is a bad idea. But we have some folks that are really good at it. And one of the biggest mistake I made once is okay. So I'm based in Asia, and things can happen. So I always get worried, before I go to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, my time, which is 2 p.m. in the afternoon East Coast time. It's like, uh-oh, did I remember to move and hedge all the Bitcoin? Because it looks a little volatile, because there's a few ways to hedge it. I personally am not a fan of USDT. That's just my personal feeling. But we found there's another token that behaves inversely to Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes up a bunch, this token goes down in Bitcoin terms, a little bit less than Bitcoin went up, and vice versa. Because the idea when we pay people, still it's US dollar based, but paid out in crypto. So the biggest mistake I've made is gone to bed and forgot to hedge. It hasn't killed us, but it's not a nice feeling to go to bed at night or early in the morning and have a certain amount of money, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, whatever payments are coming into the payment processor. It's not a very nice feeling to go to bed and wake up 4 hours later and have a higher quantity of crypto and a lower quantity of US dollars value. So that's been one of my biggest errors. Because like I said, I don't personally do the trading. I leave that to the experts.
Dang, that's awesome. Yeah, I never thought of that. That's actually a really good one to think of, is time zone differences. If you guys are trading with markets that are more Korean or Asian or Japanese, anything based, you got to think about that time zone difference. So I'm happy you brought that up. And let's talk a little bit about mining, since we're getting into the 3TN offers here. When it comes to mining, what are the benefits of cloud mining versus purchasing the equipment and mining for oneself?
Okay, first let's talk a little bit about mining in general. Our mining is we're a reseller for our partner Cryptmin.com. They actually are the mining company.
Okay.
And there's a couple reasons for that. One is, since we're in the network marketing space, some of the members might say, what the heck are you guys doing mining? That's question one. Question two, somebody might ask, is what happens to my mining contract if I don't pay my bill for the rest of the stuff? So, and the third question comes out the other way, is what happens if the regulatory authorities start clamping down or doing something to mining? What's that do to your company? So it's a third-party specialist company. Now, the founder and owner of that company wrote a book called The Mining Bible, and it's subtitled "The Truth is Good Enough." So it fills in all of our members and everybody about how mining works. So we just did a webinar actually they did a webinar for all of the people who are their customers and partners and the like. And one of the interesting points they covered says there's nothing to stop people from buying their own mining gear. However, if you're going to mine Bitcoin, what did he say? It'll be quite noisy if you have, the specialist, an amp miner, and the S9 lately, the latest one.
Oh yeah, they ain't quiet.
It'll be quite noisy in your house, and one of them, you'd have to put it on its own circuit, and it will be quite warm. So it better be winter time in Canada when you're doing it. So yes, you can mine, and there's GPU miners that don't use as much, but having a single mining rig all by yourself, your probability of finding and solving and earning rewards is quite low. So by being part of an amalgamated pool, which is what they provide to our members and what they provide through us, gives you a chance to share in a much larger set of computers accessing the various coins that can be mined, and then increasing the probability of return. So that's the idea. So it's a lot easier and simpler for somebody to sign up, buy a mining server rental, and then once a week have to do a setting to say, well, I'd like to mine GPU stuff. I want my hash power that I'm renting to be focused this way, or I want it to be focused this way, so that they are in control of what's going on, and still they can do it without a huge amount of knowledge and a huge amount of work. Because setting up your own mining rig, it's doable, but not for the average person.
Yeah, it's definitely more convoluted than most would like. It would be like buying a blank motherboard and building your own operating system at this point.
That's pretty funny you mentioned that, because they shared a story during the webinar about when they set up the first mining rig when they were just getting started. And as you said, it's a motherboard. It's not a computer in a case with an on-off switch. So they're like, uh-oh, how do we turn this thing on?
Yeah, you just plug it in.
Well, you plug it in and you had to short some pins or something to actually get it to turn on. But it was a pretty funny story.
That's awesome. It's not all sunshine and rainbows, man. What are some of the risks involved with investing in crypto cloud mining as opposed to the risks involved with actually investing in the cryptocurrencies directly?
Okay, that's an interesting point. Let's not even talk the risk for a minute. One of the issues people have, especially new people, is this fear of missing out. So they get in as it's going up, and the fear, uncertainty, and doubt when things get bad. So they sell low and buy high. Well, the beauty of being in mining in general is the fact that every day the mining rigs are doing their thing, mining altcoins, mining litecoins, maybe even mining Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, converts the earnings to Bitcoin every day. So if you just buy Bitcoin, let's just say I'm a buyer, buy and hold, so I bought some Bitcoin last year, and then I get nervous, so I sold all my Bitcoin. Well, then I sold all my Bitcoin. Well, now let's assume I have mining. If I have a mining server rental and I own a bunch of them, so I have some decent hash power that I've contracted for, yes, I don't, the emotion gets me and I get rid of my Bitcoin. But tomorrow, my rigs are still mining whatever is profitable to mine, and I can go I get more Bitcoin, because it mines whatever is profitable to mine. It also mines some speculative coins, and maybe one of the speculative coins seriously hits. And then there's a big jump in earnings because the speculative coin that was easy to mine became worth something. So then I wake up and I see, wow, the mining has got me some more Bitcoin. So I'm always increasing my Bitcoin by some amount if I keep mining, versus I could be tempted, or based on emotions and market sentiments and things like that, to dump all my crypto for some reason because I get scared. But at least with a mining capability, I always wind up with a little bit more every day, and it keeps going for the length of my contract.
Well, the way you describe it kind of makes it sound like a way of making passive income that's dollar cost average investing. I like it. Like, great
Yeah, I wouldn't
explanation.
say it's not totally passive, because you actually have to take some actions, or because if it was totally passive, then the mining company runs the risk of being
Hmm.
classified as security.
That's smart to have it so people, what is it? They have to pick what their house power is mining weekly.
Correct. They'll have to make a couple of picks that they'll be able to make, and obviously they're not going to allow somebody to pick something that earns them zero, because that would be self-defeating. Because then you get mad at the mining company who sold you this lease of capacity and lets you pick something that you didn't earn any money. So there'll be guidelines, and it'll help people. If they're focused on making sure that people have the best opportunity, and they don't have to sit and babysit it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, watching the hardware, making sure it doesn't fall over. Because you have your own mining rig. What happens if you have a power outage? Then
Oh, that would suck.
you're out for a period of time, so you're not mining. So they take care of that part, and you take care of making the picks so that you are actively involved.
Yeah, that sounds nice. I don't want to worry about maintenance either, because what if something breaks and ordering parts takes forever? Literally everything comes from China. Forget that headache. You know what? Let's talk a little bit here about some of these ICOs. There's an influx of scams in the industry, and the SEC has been submitting subpoenas left and right. What kind of precautions are taken at 3TN to protect investors from bad actors? What's the vetting process like for your ICOs?
Okay, we do a few things when we review ICOs. There's tons of them coming out, and we kind of winnow the list of the ones that are going to be reviewed, because we don't have unlimited resources to put into analyzing them. Then we look at market, product, teams really big. In a lot of cases, we call the companies. In most cases now, we actually ring up the companies or send them questions. And some of them, there's been a couple that we thought looked really good. And then our chief ICO officer, a gentleman named Robert Timmermans, he treats it as if he's the one personally putting all the money in. So he's relatively conservative when he comes to investing and things like that. So he looks at it, am I going to risk my money? And then, oh my God, if I rate this, because he gets the final call, if I agree that this is a top rated ICO, what are the members going to say if I'm wrong?
Ah,
So
the credibility factor.
so he makes doubly sure because he's found some, when he's reading the report and he says, "Wow, this looks great. That looks great," and he's like, "Wow, this looks too good to be true." And then you go double check things like when were the LinkedIn profiles, image searches to verify that the people are real. But the biggest way to avoid scams, in my opinion, and this is I treat it when I look at these because I've been involved in the startup funding world and try to get people money and have raised some money for people and have worked with startups. Do you have a product? Do you have a customer? It's kind of interesting. In some cases, those companies that come out in the ICO space, they don't actually get the multiples they deserve because they're not as hypey as some of the other ones. But you look, is it real? Who are the people behind it? Are they really behind it? Who are their advisors? If you have Vitaly Buterin, the inventor or founder of Ethereum, who's on the advisory team, it's probably a decent indicator it's not a scam. But you have to watch. You have to watch. Is it too good to be true? Is it real? Is there a real blockchain application? When will they deliver something? Have they ever delivered anything? So we look at all of those, and we actually talk to the companies, and we also look at the space. Because I don't know if you saw this. Well, there's an article that said 46% of last year's ICOs have basically already failed or are on the way to failure. Not all scams, but some, didn't
Just
go
failed,
anywhere,
yeah.
and some were scams. So we do our best to identify the ones we feel are ultra risky, and we just rate them a red. And if we think they could possibly be a scam, we say, we're not 100% sure, but we're going to steer clear of this one. You do what you want. Because, again, we're an information provider. We're not providing financial advice. We're providing information. You read our report. I mean, the way most people do it is they look and see, there's 12 new reports posted. Oh, okay, there's 4 green or green pluses, which are the best of the best, at least in our opinion from an analysis perspective. And then go read those 4 reports. Saves you 4, 6, 8, 10 hours of finding all the information, reading the whole white paper, and doing all the analysis yourself, but at least read the report. And then you make your own decision. I have some friends, who are using some of the reports, and one of them we had, and he said, "Oh, great. I like the fact that you rated it highly, but I would never put my money in that sector just because personally I don't put money in that sector." I said, "Great. That's why you read the report."
Exactly. That is awesome. Speaking of, what's going on in the roadmap of 3TN in 2018? What can we expect next?
Okay, a couple of things. One is members would love help in real trading. We call the traffic light signals portion trading in the sense that you go in and out or between Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. But that's, again, a substantial proportion of the population. It's hard enough for them to buy their first Bitcoin. So beyond, and hard for them to do more than Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, then teach them how to do ICOs so they can participate in ICOs themselves. Some of the things we'll be adding and rolling out through 2018, trading partner. So real trading capability for the more sophisticated people who want to learn to trade, who want help trading, live trading possibly, where they can be a member, at a group that can work with a pro trader who says, here's how we're going to analyze these 5 trades. Here's token A, token B, token C. Here's the technical analysis. Here's where I, the professional trader, believe is a good entry point. Here's where I think the stop loss should be. Here's what I think the exit point should be for the people that are interested in that level of trading. Another one is rolling out substantially more cryptocurrencies in our traffic light trading system, and more teaching so people can follow what we call the evergreen strategy. If, for instance, if Bitcoin is red, the normal definition of red says go to cash. Be conservative. You're in cash because that asset, and it applies to stocks, it applies to gold, silver, Forex, and the S&P 500 as well. So red means cash. Well, if Bitcoin's red, but Litecoin and Ethereum are green, you should just move into Litecoin and Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes all three are red. Then you go, well, what's happening over in the stock side, gold, silver, and Forex side? What's green there? Because at the end of the day, if you're a member or if you just want to be a customer, you don't have to be a member. We have lots of customers. If you're a customer of ours, do you care where you make money? No, right? It doesn't matter if this week the right thing to do is put your investment funds, your personal money, into the S&P 500 index fund because that's doing well, and gold and silver are doing horrible, and Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum are all red. But if something else is green, learn how to do that. Well, a lot of people like crypto, so by adding a lot more cryptos, there's a high probability that other cryptos may be green when some others are red. And then we're looking at which ones and high market cap, high liquidity, because it's kind of bad if you decide to move into a specific token or coin and your movement moves the price, because then that doesn't help you. Because the idea is keep your funds, your funds that are speculative in the crypto space especially, keep them in things that are green. There's been a few days, I woke up, I remember a few weeks ago, looking at coin market cap for a general look at what's going on. And of the top 100 coins, 99 or 100 were all red. Ooh. In terms of not red traffic light trading, but in terms of down from whatever they started the 24-hour period. But those are some of the key roadmap items that we have, is to increase the value that members get and customers get so that they stay happy, they stay coming. If they're making money in their personal portfolios using our information, then they will keep paying their subscription. That's what it's about, keeping customers for a long time. Good for the members, good for the company, good for leaders who help find those members and customers, and it becomes win-win-win for everybody.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Is there anything that you would like to make sure that the listeners or the viewers get to hear about 3TNetworks.com?
So the only other thing I'd like to add, I wanted to say thank you to Peter Ohanian, who's one of our leaders, for helping to set this up. And on March 13th, they are running a meetup that's going to teach some of the things that I've been talking about. I know you are in contact with them, so we'll be able to be in a position to share that information with people. But I just want to say thanks to him for setting this up. Without people like him and others and other of our leaders and members, there's no need for us to exist. So we enjoy what we do. I love working with people. My management team and co-founders and co-owners all wanted to be in a business where we can help other people to help themselves be successful. It's not about us, it's about them. And we love what we're doing. We love the blockchain. We love crypto space. It's been a lot of fun, and it's going to be a lot more fun.
Thank you so much, man. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. I am excited for the future. The teamwork makes the dream work, and we can't get to the moon on our own. It's going to be a group effort, and what 3T Networks is doing is awesome. Thank you, Dan Schwatz, for joining me today on pureblockchainwealth.com, where we talk about putting your wealth on the blockchain. Have a day.
Thank you very much.